Hi folks, HR Funk here, out on the range today to bring you a viewer requested video. This video actually comes by way of a request from Matthew, who is a law enforcement firearms instructor in the state of Nebraska. Now Matthew got a hold of me some time ago and said that he's watched several of my videos where I've used historic firearms and pitted them against the Ohio Peace Officer Qualification courses, and he asked me if I'd be willing to try that with the Nebraska courses. And I thought that sounded like fun. So Matthew was good enough to send me a copy of the course description for the Nebraska Handgun Qualification course and the Nebraska Rifle Qualification course, and he also sent me a couple of their targets. Now he did not send me any firearms or ammunition. So come on Matthew, do you want me to do this or not? Just kidding. Actually, what I'm going to be doing today is giving the Nebraska Rifle Qualification course a try, and for that I'm going to be using my Fulton Armory FAR15A1, which is just a basic A1 style rifle, so no light up sights, no magnification, just a good reliable rifle with dependable metallic sights. Now, just as I've done in the videos that have featured the Ohio qualification courses, I will be explaining each stage of fire as I go so you understand what you're about to see, then I'll give that stage a try. Now I should probably throw this caveat in as well, especially for those of you in Nebraska. This is my understanding of the course as interpreted from a written description. So if you see me doing something that you know is not quite correct, just understand that I don't have anyone here to ask or to correct me as I go. Nebraska uses a 50-round course of fire for the rifle qualification that's divided into 7 stages. And at the end of the course, in order for the shooter to be deemed qualified, 70% of the shots, or 35, have to be inside of what we here in Ohio call the preferred area. And you'll see with the close-up view of the target here in a little bit, it's the light gray portion of the target that Nebraska uses for qualification. The course starts out from a distance of 50 yards, and through the 7 stages it works up closer and closer to the target, ending at 5 yards from the target, and the very last stage of fire features a transition from the rifle to the handgun. So with all that out of the way, let's give the course a try, and we'll see how the FAR15A1 does against the Nebraska Rifle Qualification course. Alright folks, I'm just about ready to kick things off with this Nebraska Rifle Qualification course. The first 3 stages of the course are all fired from a distance of 50 yards. They each require the shooter to fire 5 rounds, and they each have a 20-second time limit that I'm going to keep track of with my timer here. The first stage of the course starts out standing, and on the signal to fire, the shooter drops into a prone position and fires 5 rounds within 20 seconds. The second stage of the course, the shooter again starts standing, and on the signal to start, the shooter drops into a kneeling position and fires 5 rounds in 20 seconds. And the third stage, the shooter starts in a standing position, stays in the standing position, and has a 20-second time limit to fire 5 rounds in that position. So here we go. Here's the first 3 stages of the course. All right, after those first 3 stages of fire from 50 yards, 14 of my shots are inside of this light gray preferred area that I mentioned before. One of my shots did get away from me though, and I'm sure this is one of the shots that I fired standing, but I don't know which one. They all looked good when the trigger broke, so that one's going to bother me a little bit. By the way, this green area that you see here is for Nebraska law enforcement rifle instructors to qualify. In order for an instructor to qualify on this course, 90% of his or her shots have to be inside of this green area. But in any regard, I'm now going to move on to stage 4, which takes place at 25 yards. I'll get things set up there and then give that one a try. And I'm now set up for stage 4 of the course. In this stage, I start out in a standing position, and on the signal to fire, I fire 5 shots from that standing position. Then I drop to a kneeling position, perform a mandatory reload, and then fire 5 more shots from that kneeling position, all in a time limit of 25 seconds. So let's see how this goes. And not too bad on that stage. All of my shots stayed inside the light gray area. Most of them were in the green area. Looks like I pulled a couple more out. But for the most part, I'm not feeling too bad for my first time ever firing this particular course. So now it's time to move on to stage 5 and see how that goes. And I'm now ready for stage 5 of this Nebraska Law Enforcement Rifle Qualification course. This stage is very similar to the last one in that I again start out in a standing position. On the signal to fire, I fire 5 rounds from the standing position. Then I drop to the kneeling position and perform a mandatory reload and fire 5 more rounds from the kneeling position. This time though, I'm at a distance of 15 yards and the time limit goes down to 20 seconds. So let's see how this one goes. And it looks like all of those stayed in the green portion of the target. So that's good. Now it's on to stage 6, and we'll give that one a try. And I'm now set up for stage 6. This stage of the course is all fired from a distance of 7 yards, and it's all fired from the standing position. On the signal to fire, I have 3 seconds to come up and put 2 shots on target. This stage is repeated 3 more times, so when I get done, I will have fired a total of 8 rounds. All 8 shots under the time limit, all 8 shots in the green area. So now it's time to move on to the final stage, stage 7. 7th and final stage, folks. This stage takes place from a distance of 5 yards, and it requires a transition from the rifle to the pistol. On the signal to fire, I fire the last 2 rounds remaining in this rifle. When the bolt locks to the rear, I have to sling the rifle, draw the pistol, and fire 5 more rounds from the pistol, all in a time limit of 10 seconds. And there we go, folks. 45 rifle rounds and 5 pistol rounds downrange, and of those, only 1 is outside of this light gray preferred area. So that means 98% of my shots are in the portion of the target where they're required to be. And on top of that, all but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are inside of this green area. So that means not only did I pass the overall course with my Fulton Armory A1, with a score of 98%, but I also made the instructor's cut. And I'm pretty happy about that because I've been a firearms instructor here in Ohio for a long time, and I didn't want my Nebraska counterparts to think we didn't know how to shoot here in the Buckeye State. Well folks, I guess if I'm ever traveling through Nebraska with my Fulton Armory-A1, at least I'm qualified with it. And who knows, maybe while I'm there, I'll stop and see if I can help teach a rifle class. In any regard, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I want to say a special thank you to Matthew for coming up with the idea and then also sending me the materials to make this video possible. Now I have to think of something interesting to use for the Nebraska pistol qualification. I'll have to give that one some thought. Till next time folks, good shooting. Bye-bye.